Don't do that.
In this video, we're going to be dropping these forms down in this hole. I've made this boom jig for my tractor, and you're going to get to see how all that went down. And make sure you're subscribed, because the next video is going to be pouring concrete and leading up to the culmination of the reveal, where we bust these forms off and see how everything went down. Okay, so I took the forklift frame that we built in previous videos. You can go back and check that out at the end of this video. I went ahead and welded up some rebar hooks because I didn't exactly know what configuration I did, but I just wanted to be able to create additional support for this 2-inch tubing. I used my middle 2-inch receiver, and I didn't want to take a lot of time making this permanent, so that I'd be able to use this bar for something different in the future if I wanted. So I just welded a little bar in here to keep this from sliding this way, because all my force was going to be coming back this way with these straps. I welded another rebar D-ring to the top of this to be able to take some straps, and so this is pulling up on this, reducing how much bend is going to be in this bar. I like using these ratchet straps because I can control the angularity of how much it's pulling out on that long distance. So I'm able to just kind of move it this way, move that way, make sure it's centered, make sure everything's pulling equally. I wanted to make this part kind of big so that I could wrap chain, wrap some rope, kind of take up some of my excess slack of things. It definitely held good, plenty of strength in there for what this tractor is able to do with its approximate 1,100 pound lifting capacity. Everything was just the right strength for what we needed. Finally, I wanted a nice big loop at the end. I welded here and here so we'd be in shear strength from this direction, and I didn't know if I was going to be hooking hooks on it. I wanted it multi-configurable because lowering our floor had different requirements than lowering the walls did. As you can see, our forms are really close to the top of our ceilings, so we needed to be able to lift this thing up with not very much space between the hook point and our tie-ons. We use this bar as a load displacement bar. That way we'd be lifting straight up and down on the edges, because if you come at a tight angle with the rope, you'll be pulling those hooks and adding additional pressure that they weren't designed to have from the way that we screwed them up. So see how much all this force is pulling inward as much as up? These bolts and this wood can't handle that additional weight. Currently, we're expecting it to lift around 200 pounds on these lag bolts in shear position. But if we go this way, we'll be doubling or tripling the stress on those bolts. So now with this support bar in here, we have this point and this point going directly up, and that reduces the stress on this wood and the lag bolts so that it's only lifting the going up force and not being tugged in as well. I didn't want to do a bunch of welding on this. Like I said, I want to use this piece for something in the future. So we just put some clamps on the edge to keep these chains from sliding off. And as you can see in the video, all that stuff worked perfectly. Super excited about that. No problems with that at all. Now, this tractor was maxed out at its lift capacity. And the higher the boom goes, the hydraulics have less strength. So we are right at about where it's maxed out while it's level on the ground. But then as we were able to lower it down, then those hydraulics got into the position where they had more strength. As it went below the floor level, it had plenty of strength to keep it supported so that Rob and I didn't have any danger being down and lifting it down. It was a real back saver and made this job a lot less dangerous. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up that video of the boom build and dropping the forms in. And our next video is gonna be getting concrete poured just in time, and then all of the surprises that the day had for us. We'll see you on the next video. Make sure you stay with us.
Today is the day I'm making a change, building things different, making things